unBasic Black, and today I'm going to talk with you about the final presidential debate. Got some notes here because a lot was said, and then there was a lot that wasn't said, so notes. So let me just get right to it. I don't want to keep you too long. So first, let me go through all of the questions that were asked, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that. And also, let me say that this debate was much, much better than the last one. That chaos that was before made me just cringe, as you saw in previous videos. But this last one was much, 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 much better. Okay, and if you notice some shine going on, I am trying to be energy conscious, yet cute. And so I don't have the air on, but I got some natural breezes going through, and I got a fan going. So bear with my shine. Hopefully it just lets me glow. Okay, so the first question was, how would you lead the country in the next stage of the coronavirus pandemic? Question number 2, what steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a coronavirus vaccine? Number 3, what do you say to people who are worried about the consequences of another shutdown? Number 4, what is your message to parents who are worried about the dangers of sending their children to school? Number 5, what would you do to end election interference from foreign countries? Number 6, how can voters know you do not have any foreign conflicts of interest? 7, why do you think you would be able to address the North Korea threat? Is that a Freudian slip? What would you do if the Supreme Court overturns the Affordable Care Act? What do you say to people who are fearful of a government takeover of healthcare? That was question number 9. Number 10, do you think this is the right time to raise minimum wage? Number 11, how will families separated at the border be reunited? Number 12, why would voters trust you on an immigration overhaul? Number 13, do you understand why African American parents are fearful for their children? Number 14, what do you say to Americans who think your rhetoric is contributing to racial tensions? And that was directed specifically at our current president. And then number 15, which was the final question, that's not right. Forgive me. Number 15, how would you combat climate change and support job growth? Now the final question, number 16, is what will you say to Americans who did not vote for you? And I thought all of these questions were pretty good. Things that really would challenge them to think and come up. And it seriously felt like an interview question, which is what this campaign process is. Okay, and then also before I continue on, make sure you go out and vote. In full transparency, I am not able to do it this election, so please do it for me. Not like double vote or anything, but as many people as possible get out there and vote. There was some complications that I could have helped, but I did not, so it's completely my fault. But rest assured, the elections that are happening in the next 2 years, yeah, I'm on it. I shall be squared away by then. But I had some personal things to work out, and then time just, anyway, I'm sorry, America, that I will not be participating in this election. It breaks my heart that I cannot. But I do vote, so I still have an opinion that I can render, and I will be voting in the next one. So, alrighty then. Let's see here. One of the things that I really find most annoying about this current president is how he likes to take jabs at people. So, or he tries to do subliminal messages in the things that he says. Some would call it, or, I don't know about like how he feels about it, but I know what I think, or things like that, where he's just trying to be underhanded and sneaky with his comments, and then act like he didn't say anything. It's kind of like mumbling underneath your breath, and you get caught. What did you say? What? No, I didn't say anything. No, no, no. I'm just saying that. No, like mean grandmas or nasty in-laws, things like that. Those little underhanded little gonna poke you, gonna poke you, poke you, kind of thing. So that annoys me about him. At any rate, so let's see. President said that he's been congratulated from various countries by his pandemic response. Not the news that I've been seeing anywhere, but okay. I know that he has alternative facts and more than likely alternative news outlets that tell him what he wants to hear. But we'll go with that. Biden was talking, and they both of them were kind of doing jabs too, just to be fair. They were both doing jabs, and at one point Biden said, "I don't even want to get into the last one." And he was talking about the election, about the things that Trump talked about during the last election. I felt like little time was spent on the answers to the questions. Like they would start. I thought Biden did better about answering the questions, but there were still times when I think he didn't have a real answer for it. So he danced a little sidestep. Now you see him. Now you don't. He's come and gone. Whoop, kind of thing. So that was something that both of them did periodically. Of course, Trump more than others. He was he was constantly trying to deflect. Simple, like some of these questions are like simple answers. Like, what steps would you take to give Americans confidence in the coronavirus vaccine? All he had to do was just talk about how he has scientists from reputable companies, and he didn't mention Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. So just stick with that stuff, but instead he wanted to ramble on about how Biden's son, Hunter, got like $3 million or whatever from Ukraine or Russia. And he just kept going. He would do things like that instead of just sticking to answering this question. He would just go off on some scandal that he's trying to cook up for his opponent. Let's see, something else. Both of them did a lot of finger pointing. Like, look at what he did, and it was kind of like watching, trying to settle an argument between siblings when they're little. I don't know, maybe when they're adults. Angel. So it's like trying to sell like, well he botched the pandemic response. Well, he had time in the 90s to perfect crime reform or justice reform. Well, he didn't do this. Well, he didn't do that. Well, he didn't do this. Well, he didn't do that. Well, I'm not going to take. No, I'm not going to. And so there was a lot of that. Let's see. Another jab that Trump was giving to Biden was like, "You're the big man. I don't know, but you could be," kind of thing. Like, what? Anyway, I do like how the moderator kept control. Kristen Welker. I like the way that she kept control. There were times when they were trying to pull it away from her, and she reined it back in really nicely. I don't know if it had something to do with them being able to shut off the mics or anything, which they didn't do a lot of when it came to. They see me trying to record. Honestly, when it came to follow-up questions, they seemed to leave the mic on, and I'm sitting there like, turn the mic off, turn the mic off, turn the mic off, so that the other person can answer. But the only time it seemed where they did keep the mics off was for those 2 minutes. And it's interesting that while the mics were off, it didn't seem like they had anything to say. Not like the last time when they were trying to do their 2 minutes, then particularly Biden would get interrupted more so than Trump would. At any rate, so It's talking about controlling North Korea. That was one of the ending questions. And Biden took a jab at Trump when he was talking about how um, he had a good relationship with with somebody. I'm sorry, I just wrote down what Biden says. Like America essentially had a good relationship with Hitler before he invaded all the places that he invaded. So, oh, yeah, with the North Korea thing, it's like I have a good relationship with North Korea, and Biden's like, yeah, we had a good relationship with Hitler, and then he invaded places. So I thought it was kind of funny. um, I don't believe that they answered the questions about how to deal with the families who were separated at the border on the immigration issue. It didn't seem like either one of them wanted to say how they would reunite the families. Now, Biden did get upset about how the families were separated, and just didn't seem like this administration cares that they did it, let alone trying to get those children back with their families. But Biden too did not say like what he would do to help get those families reunited. Um, Trump said that there was the part about the people who were arrested at the border and they would have to come back for court, and Joe talked about how they the people that were the catch and release thing. So the people that were arrested and then released to come back at a later date for their court dates, that they came back, and then Trump did a jab. I don't know why he said it, but like those with the lowest IQ are the ones who came back. Like anyway, Biden mentioned something about doing um, during the question dealing with race relations and black mothers fearing for their children for their children. He mentioned something about how we have been moving the needle to inclusion in a positive direction, and then once Trump took office, the it just set things way back. I kind of agree with that. Um, I guess when you're on the receiving end of needing to be equal with people, it seems that the progress is really it well the progress is slow. Um, but from the other side, it's like, well, we have a black president. That's progress. Well, yeah, but at any rate, so I thought that was interesting that he mentioned something about moving the needle to inclusion. Trump says that he's done more for black people, and I took some time to look up their justice reform policies. I used Politico.com for that one just to see what they were talking about, what their views on justice reform was, and it seemed that Trump was relying heavily on. He had this. His idea of doing more for black people was criminal justice reform, which then tends to make me think that he only thinks of black people as he mostly thinks of black people as criminals, and then he added some long-term funding to historically black colleges. Okay, yeah, all right, thanks, but that doesn't mean that doesn't qualify as more. That just qualifies as something, not more. Um, it it back to what I was saying about the criminal the justice reform. He implemented or he passed into law this law called First Step Act, and it released some people who were in for like minor stuff, and then there's some funding attached to it, which I believe had already been in place because I worked for a nonprofit that has a reentry program, and my uncle has works with ex-offenders, and he's been doing that for years. So it's I don't know that what that First Step Act is like groundbreaking as much as it may have given a little extra bump or something. But again, that to say that black people, he's done more for black people than any other president, and the things that he has to show for it is criminal justice reform and throwing some money at historical black colleges. I don't know that that would qualify as enough to say that he's done more. I like that Biden admitted that the crime bill that he passed during the 90s was a mistake, and that since then he's been working with he's been working with people to try to rectify that mistake. It's done some long-term damage because prison has a stigma, comes with a stigma, and and I don't know how it is in other countries, but in America, it's made it very hard for ex offenders for people who I'm gonna just put it this way, for people who get out of prison to get back into mainstream, because they have prison attached to them for the rest of their lives. They can't vote. They can't most times get a job. There are people who overcome those, but for the most part, these men and women who are trying to get back into society so that they can start taking care of their families again or be a productive member of society, they can't, because every time they go to apply for a job, they have to put down whether or not they serve time or been convicted of a crime, and then usually that gets them taken out of the running for a job. And this is the weird thing, is that we encourage them to go to school. They get their diploma, high school diploma, if they haven't graduated, and then they get their college degrees. And some are able to come out and get work because of that, but a lot don't. But we're telling them that they've paid their debt to society, but society still treats them like they owe something. Okay, stepping down off my soapbox. Biden answered. I like the way Biden answered the final question. I like a lot of times when he did answer questions, he looked at the camera like he was talking to people, and he wanted them to know that this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm trying to bring hope back to America. Sounded a whole lot like one of my favorite presidents. So, but that's pretty much my take on this final presidential debate. I thought it was going to be boring, but I thought it was. I actually really started getting into it to where I was particularly like, can you go ahead and mute him? Or answer the question. I'm talking to the TV. I don't think you really answered the question. I think we need to revisit that, but they only get like an hour and a half for that, and that it takes an hour and a half for them to do all that. It's just crazy. So that's my take on this final election. The November 3rd is right around the corner. I'm filming this on October 25th, so that's 6 more days in October. So wow, 9 days. So in 9 days, hopefully, we'll know for sure how this, what the fate of our country is. And I'm a little nervous. I'm not a little nervous. I'm nervous about it. Kind of scared as to what's going to happen if Trump is allowed another 4 years. What's going to happen to us? And then on the other hand, if Biden wins, is he going to be able to do what he campaigned about? And that was another thing that came up was Trump asked him, you had 8 years with Obama to get certain things done, like I'm sorry, I'm spacing the specifics, but there were several things that came up dealing with the questions that they had been asked. Why weren't you able to get those things done? And all Biden said was, we had a Republican Congress, and that was it. I was like, dang. And that was true, because that's the way I felt. I felt that way when he was, when Obama was president, was that anything that he tried to do that was going to help America, the Republican Congress said no. And now they're trying to get, they passed some of the exact same things that Obama was trying to get passed when he was in office. But now that they're doing it, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a good idea. Like, whatever. At any rate, so that's my take. I apologize for the length, and I hope that you were able to vote early, or if you were able, or that you were able to mail in your ballots. And if you have to, then vote in person. I have a family member. She was in line for 3 hours to vote, but she stayed in line for it. And then I had another family member mailed in the ballot. So, however you can, please, please, please do it. And again, I'm sorry that I'm not able to this election, but rest assured, the next election's coming up. Local, state, federal. I'm on it. I'm in there. And don't forget to read about your the other issues that are going to be on the election ballot. So there should be some things that are trying to get passed in your state, as well as with the as well as the presidential election. And then you got people who are up for re-election for certain things, mayors, not Senate this time around. I think Senate is the next time. But at any rate, make sure you read those the ballots and the issues that are on there, so that you can make an informed decision about what to pass and not pass. And that is all I have. Thank you for watching. I am May with unBasic Black. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We also have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and as you see, YouTube channel. Our website is unbasicblack.com. Also, take a gander at cloudsofzen.com.